Getting ready to teach bite-sized session for accounting. Today we're going to look at the core exams. There are two examination papers that students will need to sit as part of their T-level qualification in accounting. There is Core Examination 1 and Core Examination 2. Core Examination 1 focuses more on the business concepts within the T-level, whereas Core Examination 2 focuses more on the accounting concepts. So that's the more subject-specific paper, although both papers will cover knowledge that is specific to accounting and business in general. So as you can see for both papers, they are both available twice a year. So they're available in the winter series, so November, December time, and then they're available in the summer exam series, which is May, June time. They will be on a set time and date, so they will appear on the exam timetable for T-levels, and they are both written examinations, so they are done under high control. The paper is given to students, which is written by Pearson. The students write their answers. They're then collected in, sent off to the awarding organisation, who then mark them, and then the students will get their results on the results day, be it the March one, if they've done the winter series, or in August with the summer series. So both papers require students to bring black pens. With paper 1, they can also bring a calculator because there will be some calculation questions, and they will not be allowed to bring any notes into the exams with them. So each of the core examination papers have two sections. Section A, which is worth about 20% of the paper, which is where students will be demonstrating knowledge. They might be demonstrating some application, but these will generally be the give, name, state, describe, maybe explain questions. There'll be the shorter points-based knowledge recall questions moving into sort of the medium response questions, whereas section B of the paper, which is worth 90% of the paper, is going to be the medium response questions and those extended open response questions. So students will be given stimulus material, so a case study or scenario that they need to read. They'll then be given a question and they respond to that. So these will be more the explain questions, there'll be the discuss, the analyse, the evaluates, and these will be in section B. They're going to be the questions that are sort of 4, 6, 9, 12 marks. So they're going to be the longer questions that have got the scenarios and they're responding to stimulus material. They're not just demonstrating that they can recall knowledge in isolation. The core papers on the accounting T-level have specific content areas that will be assessed on the papers, but that doesn't stop students from demonstrating knowledge from other content areas if they think it's applicable. So on paper 1, which obviously we can see is the more business focused paper, this is a 2.5-hour paper and it's worth a third of the marks of their core assessment, so the first year typically speaking, and it'll be 90 marks. So there's not a lot of time students will need to move at pace to get through the paper and answer all these questions. So it's worth planning with them time management, getting them used to answering the longer questions so that they're prepared for what it feels like, and to be able to write for 2.5 hours as well, because many of them may not have sat an examination this long and they've got two in quite quick succession usually in the same week or within sort of 2 weeks of each other. So it's getting them prepared for that. But having a look then at paper 1, so we've got content area 1, the business environment, content area 2, careers, content area 6, professional services, content area 8, fundamentals of financial accounting 1. We've got content area 9, technology, area 10, which is data-driven innovation, area 11, research skills, and area 12, project and change management. So you can see this is quite a big paper in terms of the content that can come up. This paper also features calculation questions, so students will be expected to be able to look at material they've been given in a case study, extract numbers, and then to do things with those numbers, to perform calculations based on the questions they're being asked. They will feature, obviously, those short questions, the medium questions, and the extended open response. And it will be a mix of points-based questions. So where the student is maybe asked to name one thing, they get a point for each thing they name. Or if they're being asked to explain two things, they get a point for giving the two things, and then a point for each of the developments of those. Whereas if you're looking at maybe the extended open response questions, so these are more your sort of your 6, your 9, your 12 mark questions. These are levels based marked. So it's about the quality of the answer that the student is giving as well. There are bite-sized sessions that look more in depth at assessment on the core papers, but it's useful just for students to be aware that there are a mix of points based and levels based questions on the paper. See, this is paper 2, so this is the second paper. Again, this is worth a third of the core assessment. So the two papers together make up 2/3 of the core assessment, and then the other third is the employer set project. On paper 2, this again is 2.5 hours long, and it's worth 90 marks. So you can see here that we've got content area 3 regulation, area 4 professionalism and ethics, and equality, diversion and inclusion. We've got area 5 security and risks, area 7 fundamentals of law, and area 13 fundamentals of financial accounting too. So this is a bit more focused. You can see that there's less content areas here, but they are specifically focused around that accounting knowledge. And students will be given data, financial data in this paper, but it's more about their analysis of what the data is telling them rather than on paper 1 where they're actually having to calculate data. So when you're preparing students, you can have a look at that comparison between what are they going to be expected to do on paper 1, what are they going to be expected to do on paper 2. And obviously you can talk to them about the fact that if there's knowledge or questions that are on paper 2 or paper 1 that they feel can benefit from the wider knowledge they've got from other content areas, they absolutely should share it, especially in those extended open response questions. But generally speaking, when it comes to revision, they can tend to focus in on these content areas for paper 2, and obviously the other content areas for paper 1. Again, this is exactly the same. It's got those shorter based questions, it's got the medium response questions, and it's got those extended open response questions. So the papers are structured in the same way. It's just the content that's really going to be different on them. Thank you for listening to this bite-sized session on the introduction to the core exams. Hopefully this has been useful. If you'd like further information about the structure of the exam, so the questions and those sorts of things, you can watch a bite-sized video from the Getting Ready to Assess series, which looks at these questions in more depth.